I'm here with Nick Kurth, who's the manager of integrated technologies at PCL Constructors. He's joining us from Denver. I've known Nick for many years, and he's always been a really insightful guy who has a really good sense of the market, both in Canada and the US. Nick, thanks so much for joining us. And how did I do with a description of your responsibilities?
That's great, Tom. Thanks.
So we're here obviously to talk about our Innovation Spotlight 2022 that we just released. The theme of the publication is focused on the innovation economy. We talk to a lot of different startups, different general contractors, investors, kind of talking about different technologies that are emerging for construction. And that's obviously your full-time job, or has been your full-time job to date at PCL. So excited to talk to you about that. So, as a general contractor, a major general contractor operating across North America, how do you identify technologies that you want to incorporate into your business, and how do you operationalize those technologies?
Like you said, Tom, we've been doing this for quite a while, and I'd say that over the last 10, 12 years that I've been at PCL, it's changed pretty dramatically how that's happened. It's gone from sort of a top down to a bottom up approach. I definitely would say that operationalizing the technology is probably what leads us to identifying the right technology. What technology is driving operational excellence or improvements or added value in some way. I know that we personally have sort of I guess what you call an innovation framework that incorporates sort of grassroots approach to identifying needs on projects in the field, and then driving them to a larger group, an enterprise sort of level group that would then evaluate those technologies and look at how they improve safety, quality, enhance field productivities, control risk, that kind of thing. And then based on that, we'll take a deeper dive into whether or not that becomes something that's more focused in a specific market for a particular, I'd say, district that has a certain clientele or a certain type of work versus something that maybe goes more global for us. And we do that with a number of tools. We use a cool tool called Idea Scale that allows everybody in the organization to let their voice be heard. We have communities of practice, and it's based on sort of the breakdown structure of our overall organization. And each community of practice brings ideas up and says, hey, we think that this could be something that could add value, not just to the job I'm working on or the district that I work in, but to all of PCL. And again, that bubbles up and gets evaluated. And then, there's a team that basically will go through, do the evaluation, and then look at an enterprise rollout potentially. So that's one way. The other way, obviously, is through strategic planning. From the executive levels of risk management and et cetera, they look at what are the areas that we can improve in, what are opportunities to get better, and then what technologies can help us with those efforts. And that is also driven through the same tool, the same process, and basically, we feel that we have a lot of innovative individuals at the organization, that we have a lot of folks that have good ideas to share. And so essentially we go and we try to cultivate those ideas. We throw out needs and see what bounces back. And then, oftentimes it's never just one idea that becomes the ultimate solution or the ultimate workflow that we go with. It could be a series of tools or ideas that if put together create the right solution for us, essentially. Yeah. But it all starts with that sort of operational first focus. How does anything fit and enhance our operation staff
Yeah.
and our pre-construction staff.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally always been really impressed with PCL. I mean, you've created a culture within the business where, everyone in the business wants to improve, and you create this culture of innovation where people from the ground up can identify technologies, and there's a process to bring that forward and incorporate it into the business. It's a really impressive. It's impressive how you've set it up, and the more impressive thing in my mind, in my experience, has been getting the whole company on board. So, I mean, you've done an excellent job of creating that culture internally where people want to participate, find technologies, improve the business, and you've done it in a very practical way.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I would say just to that point too, Tom, we found that, early on, it was, we kind of let people do what they want. And to some degree, we still do, but we're way more effective and much better as a builder across the many different regions that we build in, from Australia to the US to Canada, if we're all working in a similar fashion, if we're all using similar tools for mission critical processes and workflows on a project. And that helps us with retention of staff. It helps us with mobility, where we can move people from job to job, district to district, region to region, and they can come in and not miss a step with the new team.
Yeah, and it drives a very consistent outcome as well. I mean,
It does, yeah, for our clients. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
So I wanted to mention PCL stepped up as a major supporting partner of building transformations this year, which we really appreciate. And PCL has had a long history with CanBIM, before we did the brand switch, supporting, and Dan Newfleece was on our board. Dan Doherty's currently on our board. Nick, you've been involved as a long-term participant across the organization. So in your mind, I mean, I have my own opinion on this, but what is the alignment with PCL and building transformations? Why are you supporting the organization? And maybe you can kind of describe how our missions align.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think from the core of our C-suite, innovation and technology has been a focus, especially with I say new folks. I mean, they've been in leadership for a long time, but the reins have recently been passed over to sort of a new generation in the last few years, and those folks, they're very much focused on innovation and technology and how it can improve our industry, enhance our staff's work-life balance, and all this other kind of stuff. And I think that focus internally aligns really well with your organization and what you guys are about. Being a major player in Canada, and obviously, I mean, you guys are building transformations now, but formerly of CanBIM, it made sense to align with a strong innovation organization in the AEC industry, specifically in Canada, being one of the larger Canadian contractors. We feel that it helps us move the industry. I mean, we feel like, as one of the leaders in this space, that it's really on our shoulders to help in every facet of of AEC in North America, Canada especially, to drive innovation and new opportunities and workflows for ourselves, for our trade partners, for our design partners, and industry wide, try to just move the needle.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that philosophy, and I mean, and that's kind of the basis of the whole organization, is trying to get the entire market to mature, because all the general contractors, all the consultants, all the trades, we're all in an ecosystem together. And in order to improve that ecosystem, we need to think collectively about the processes that we roll out across our projects. So I love that PCL has stepped up. It means a lot to the organization. It allows us to do a lot more. So we're excited about that. And just kind of like a final thought, a final question. You've been at this for a long time. You've been focused on technology for a long time and driving innovation at PCL. Quite a bit of evolution, very fast-paced evolution over the past 5 years, even with COVID now accelerating things. What's your perspective on big technology emerging for our industry? Obviously, there's some major companies that are taking market share that are starting to influence processes and whatnot. From PCL's perspective, how do you perceive these big technology firms, and how do you react to that? Is it a threat? Is it an opportunity? Are you aligning? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity. Obviously, it's we look at them very similar to our trade partners. You know, they're becoming more and more a necessity. You know, back in the day, it used to be that having VDC, laser scanning, any of these integrated or sort of advanced technologies on your job site or in your toolkit could be a differentiator for you to win a job. Now they're just standard operating procedure, like any other trade on the project, and they're necessary. It's not should I do it, should I not, is this a differentiator kind of a thing. It's like, we, you know, not only is it so ingrained in the way that we do things, to not do it would throw a huge wrench in our operations and our staff, you know, in terms of how they you know, manage data, collect data, analyze it, and plan and execute work on the job site. That it would be super disruptive to not be in a scenario where we're leveraging these technologies. And then if we're going to be leveraging them to that degree, being a partner of the technology companies is absolutely necessary. I think with anything, there's always, you know, maybe growing pains with some of these things. You know, I mean, it is emerging, some of these tools. I would say the other thing is the tools have been out there. I would say that one of the things that's maybe emerging more than a particular product or technology is the reliance that we as a general contractor, that our business, that this industry, this massive industry that makes up a tremendous amount of every country's GDP, now has on these tools. And so, you know, having certainty of the tool's reliance, the access to the data, it's putting our tech partners in a different position than it has in the past. Where if you know, I mean, you know this, Tom, back in the day, if AutoCAD went down, we'll grab some graph paper and we'll do the lift drawings by hand. You know, we'd go about it however we, you know, we would still do it. And I'm not saying that we still wouldn't figure it out, but you know, if data gets lost, or if it's inaccessible for a day, like, it makes a big difference to our project teams and to the success of our projects. It's these big tech companies are no longer a nice to have and jewelry, you know, for us. They're absolutely, their tools are absolutely necessary for us to be successful. And the more integrated they become and the more part of our standard operating procedures they become, it's going to be critical that everybody understands the risk that they're taking on by both using and selling these tools to general contractors, you know, as the digital transformation continues to progress into other areas.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting topic. We could probably talk for a long time about that. This new sort of like operating system that our businesses are relying on. Anyways, Nick, Kurth, thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate you taking the time, and looking forward to connecting in the future, hopefully in person.
Likewise, Tom, thanks for having me, for sure.
Okay, take care.
You too.